What is up, guys? Fado82 coming at you with a weekly edition of Rust Cribs, in which we take a look at some of the more noteworthy base designs on the US Rustopia server. Right off the bat, we're taking a look at Dirt McGirt's design. Dirt McGirt, Tim Nagat, and his crew built this base, and it's an absolutely stunning achievement. What I like most about this base is not the base itself. That's really cool too, but it's where they chose to build it. It's built on a mountain ridge that is nestled with its back to the ocean, and in front of them is a compound that they're allied with. The base designs are great. They have flank bases around their main base, which is something you always want to employ in your base designs. And it's using the terrain really wisely, and they're really capturing the essence of that particular slice of life on the US Rustopia server. Absolutely loving it. So moving down here, we're taking a look at some people who are allied with Dirt. That's why they're able to build so close. This is a base designed by Big, Tempest, Doc Holiday, and I'm sure a few other people that I'm missing as well. Absolutely stunning achievement, and again, they're taking advantage of the terrain. Look at that river that snakes around it, giving it a natural bottleneck. Taking a look at the main base, you'll notice it's surrounded by an outer wall, which is always important to keep the raiders at bay. And then that main base is using those tiered ledges or layers to help manage ladders when the raiders are incoming, and also to help soak up rockets. This is the reality of Rust right now, guys. This is kind of what a lot of bases look like. Some variation on this. You need to use those tiers or ledges to be able to help mitigate against the ladders, and it's really an important function. Beyond being functional, they actually add some aesthetic to the base design as well. Some people really dig it, other people aren't into it, but it's something that we didn't see before the introduction of ladders, and it's something that's here to stay at this point. Zooming back out from the base, guys, you can get a sense of its footprint, and again, that use of the landscape, using that river to their advantage. Icy rivers can be very problematic for raiders. Absolutely stunning achievement, and my hat's off to Big, Tempest, Doc Holiday, and the others who built this compound. And from the clouds of green smoke billowing out of this little house here, we can tell that this is where the party was at on the Rustopia server. Steve-O and the elusive group built this nice little base down here with a nice tower with a crow's nest and some sandbags on the lower floor there. Absolutely great little spot to defend against, and really interesting base design. Not that well fortified in terms of having a huge compound around it, but I really like this base. It's really creative, and it's using those outer ledges, which you're going to need to employ in your base designs, but really good stuff. I really like the creativity of it, and it was really cool to kind of watch these guys just having a good time with it. Nestled next to that base is the LST compound. This shit looks like a college campus. As we zoom out, we can see the full scope of everything going on here. The buildings are nestled in a way where they each have their own form and function. Some are used for different purposes. And as we go ahead and just take a look at this from an eye in the sky view, you can tell that the wall itself was a massive accomplishment. Just to harvest the resources, you're running quarries day and night, and having your clan members farm to build a wall like that. Absolutely stunning accomplishment. And remember, guys, wood goes into walls too. It's not just stone, even though it's upgraded to the stone tier. So that's a lot of resources just on the wall alone. You'll notice that different buildings in here have different levels of function to them. Some are still underway in terms of the progress, so they're not fully completed. But the one we're looking at right now is a building that looks like it's mostly completed. It's in the center of the compound, and you can see there's a member on guard duty up there. That location gives him a good vantage point to look around that entire compound. What you want to take note of in this compound is that it's set up in a way where those towers give the defenders a vantage point into the inner part of that compound, and also into the outside of the compound at any given time. That's really important. I've seen raids go down, guys, where compounds aren't laid out that well, and raiders are hiding behind rocks, or they're taking the landscape and using it against the defenders. And when you're building a compound, even if there's rocks inside of it or whatever else you see, you want to go ahead and use it to your advantage. Think about how you would raid it and then build to mitigate against that. Looking at this building here, you'll notice they're putting signs on it. Beyond making it look stunning, it actually serves some utility. You can't place ladders on top of signs, and you have to destroy the signs before you can get to the underlying structure, being the stone wall. This was a self-sustained compound here. They have their own farm, and they're using pumpkins and some of the new crops to go ahead and not have to farm animals. Good stuff. As we pan out, taking another look at it, it's an absolutely stunning achievement. And take note, guys, again, of those signs on the walls with the directions north, east, west, south. You always want to put those up because it's always good to know which direction you need to look in a firefight. We're taking a look now at Inglorious's Combat Arena, a nice little player-run event that was set up here in which gladiators could battle it out for the title of top dog on Rustopia, and it looks like it was still under construction, but there were different stations here to fight at, and I'm sorry I didn't capture more action here. It looks like a lot of fun was had here, and I love seeing player run events like this. Really good stuff, and a lot of this goes on Rustopia. This base design, guys, is easy as shit to raid in its current iteration, but what I wanted to point out is how well hidden it is. I really like the usage of the train here. Again, that's kind of the motif this particular episode of Rust Cribs, is using terrain to your advantage. But go ahead and notice that water base. It's nestled in the farthest reaches of the map, and it's not on a beach where fresh spawns come in, and I really like that. It reminds me of the old water bases from the Legacy days. And last but certainly not least, we're taking a look at the Yar compound on the US Rustopia server. Absolutely a stunning achievement put together by the Yar group, BHC, the Rusty Pirates, and I'm sure a lot of other individuals as well. Guys, help me fill in the blanks here. If I'm missing anybody on these base designs, throw their name up there in the comments. It's hard to keep up with everyone who contributes to these designs, and I know I miss people. It's not intentional, but please help me fill in those blanks. Getting back to this compound, guys, it's fucking beautiful. It is absolutely nestled along the side of the coast, so it reminds me again of a seaside university campus or some type of a coastal retreat. I don't really know what words to use. Maybe you guys can think of some cool ways to describe it, but the buildings in here all have their own individual flair. Cool building here called the Thunderdome, which is pretty cool looking. I love the design of it, and I'm really curious what went on in there. Looks like a really interesting building. The compound, again, is using the terrain very wisely. They've nestled it along the coast, which gives them a mountain range to have the raiders worry about, as well as the water, so they don't have to worry as much about that side. And taking a look at the compound, again, you can see they use the space really wisely, putting up towers to give them vantage points in all directions, using quarries day and night to be able to build a compound, and sectioning off different areas separate from the main base. So the quarries and workstations are actually housed separately from the main compound. Kind of a good strategy to use, so if raiders are coming in, they might have to take away where they're going to be blocked in by multiple walls. Notice all the flank bases around this. As we saw in the Raid Cam World War Rustopia, flank bases are hugely important in the design. Guys, when you're thinking of building a compound of a scale like this, always think about it again in terms of how you'd raid it, and try to just go from that point in terms of going into the building. You'll notice, guys, that these builders have been featured in a couple editions of Rust Cribs. They absolutely bring their A game to it, and right up till the end, they are building fast and furious to get this done. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed this edition of Rust Cribs. As always, Fado82, peace.